Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We are going to be talking about a cryptocurrency today that has some potential strong legs under it, okay, and it may be ready to go up. So that is good news there. Now you say, Aaron, okay, it seems like you've done 3 videos here. You got six subscribers. You're kind of small there. Like, what do you really have to offer me, right? You're kind of a nobody here. Well, that's true. I just started my channel a few days ago, so I am brand new. So those that follow me now or view my videos hopefully like my content, and we get more subscribers and we get more likes and comments on the video. That would be wonderful, and I can continue doing videos for everybody, right? And then, as like today specifically, some individual asked me here, his name is Nick, and he seems like he saw the XRP video I did yesterday, but he asks this question: what is something you would buy into right now? So, great question, Nick. Well, you're in for a treat here, because a blockchain, one of many, right, that I'm following, and we can get into a lot of different assets. We can get into stocks, but lately I've just been focusing a bit on crypto, right, as an opener. So what it is here is Mr. Richard Hart, okay, he has founded PulseChain, okay, PulseChain blockchain. So there's opportunity on this. I'm going to speak of one of them in particular today, okay? And so Mr. Richard Hart here says, the final judgment is in. I have defeated the SEC in court. So he's been having some issues with the SEC for a number of years now, okay? But it seems today he has officially put the document down here in his X, and formerly known as Twitter, right? And it's 11:52 a.m. May 6th, 2025. So that is today, okay? And you can see he's got a considerable amount of views here. And there is the document he posted. But I just want to give that kind of summary there real quick here before I get into reading what he's talking about here. So he says, the final judgment is in. I have defeated the SEC in court. Keyword defeated, okay? Now he says, something almost no cryptocurrency has ever done. PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex have a legal certainty almost no other coins have. I won for your freedom to publish and associate on the blockchain and to publish the software that empowers you to do so. I did it with no help at all from the industry. Pretty amazing. That I've won a victory for. It's time for us all to take it to the next level. Hey, that sounds pretty good, right? The coast is clear for greatness! Exclamation mark. New opportunities are now open! Exclamation mark. So everything in this here sounds really good, not only for us, but also Mr. Richard Hart, that has been through a lot here. But as he said, he has defeated the SEC in court. So that is great news there. So does that mean that this blockchain is going to take off here very soon? Well, let's take a look at things, okay? We'll do our analysis in a bit here. But I want to look at this right here, okay? This is what we're going to be talking about. Wrap Bitcoin on PulseChain. WBTC, okay, and it's currently sitting at $196.20. Okay, so you can see this, it's on Forbes here, right, on the website. But, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, this is an advertisement here. So anybody, it's not just the journalists of Forbes that have written all this down and documented it and presented it, right, officially on Forbes. It's just an advertisement. But why I'm using it here specifically for today is to give people a beautiful eye view of the logo, okay? The Pulse Wrap Bitcoin logo. It is nice logo there, and it could be on headlines later on, okay? It isn't something just simply that is an advertisement, but you may see this a lot of places later on, right? As this blockchain moves upwards and takes off, and Mr. Richard Hart continues to do his amazing movements in the crypto industry. Okay, so this is cool. I favor this blockchain. I have been myself accumulating. It is a smart investment in my opinion. Now, what I'm going to do here is look at Wrap Bitcoin, and you can see over here, this is DexScreener.com, and you can simply just search for WBTC and find the right one here, which is $191 currently. They have a website, a Twitter, a Telegram. So what makes this unique? Okay, remember we had said before that PulseChain is its own blockchain. Mr. Richard Hart had created there. Well, PulseChain is a layer 1 blockchain. Okay, it's fast and cheap to use. It is a full state fork of Ethereum. Okay, so it uses its own native token, and that's called Pulse. But you can see coming down here, they have a little description here, wrapped Bitcoin. Okay, it says WBTC or wrapped Bitcoin on PulseChain is the forked version of wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, provided as an exclusive airdrop to Ethereum wrapped Bitcoin holders at PulseChain's launch. Wrapped Bitcoin on PulseChain, commonly called Pulse Wrapped Bitcoin by the PulseChain community, has the same smart contract address and code as wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum, or PWBTC, but with a fixed supply of, now this is key right here, 154,410 tokens, determined by the blockchain snapshot on May 10th, 2023. Wrapped Bitcoin on PulseChain presents a unique opportunity in decentralized finance. Okay, so that's cool, right? It seems like wrapped Bitcoin does indeed have a scarcity to it, right? There's only 154,410 tokens. And I think the community is doing a good job too. And I think it's burning some of these, further making the supply less. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're doing something like that. There's a lot happening on PulseChain, and they're doing stuff with this cryptocurrency. Okay, there's a lot of believers in this. Okay, so within wrapped Bitcoin here on PulseChain. So you can see right now, it looks like it had a nice move up and then kind of went down, right? Not doing very well. But before we get into the chart and the magic starts to happen there, I do have a PDF here to kind of give us some more understanding, because if you're looking to educate yourself by what I draw on the chart with my lines and everything and make things come alive for most people there, and that's pretty fascinating, right? And fun. But at the same time, it's good to educate yourself in what you're investing in, okay? And some people have some concerns about the security, okay, of Pulse Wrapped Bitcoin. So I want to open up this document here, okay? And I used AI. It says right here, understanding the security of wrapped Bitcoin PWBTC on PulseChain. Wrapped Bitcoin WBTC is a token that allows Bitcoin to be used on the Ethereum blockchain, making it accessible for decentralized finance, DeFi applications. It is backed one-to-one by actual Bitcoin held in reserve, ensuring its value matches real Bitcoin. So do keep in mind what I have bolded there. It says Pulse Wrapped Bitcoin is the version of wrapped WBTC on PulseChain. And there have been concerns about its security due to yeah, I think I'm confused right here, but it says, but anyway, yeah, we know that it's wrapped Bitcoin on PulseChain. And there have been concerns about its security due to admin keys from Ethereum. So that's what I was talking about, right? So it says, however, it's important to understand that BitGo, the custodian managing WBTC reserves, cannot directly control or create wrapped Bitcoin or PWBTC. Instead, WBTC is governed by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, meaning that major decisions require approval from 8 out of 13 DAO members. I don't know where I got 10 from, but 8 out of 13 DAO members. These members include well-known players in the crypto space, reducing the risk of manipulation or sudden shutdowns. The DAO structure makes shutting down Pulse Wrapped Bitcoin a difficult process, as a majority of members must agree and most of them have a vested interest in its success. Even if a security issue arose, there are safeguards in place to temporarily pause transactions to prevent harm. So that's great, right? Sounds good. Since BitGo itself holds billions of dollars in real Bitcoin, any attack would likely target actual Bitcoin or WBTC on Ethereum first, making PWBTC a low priority target for any potential risks. Okay. It says, in summary, wrapped Bitcoin exists to give Bitcoin more flexibility on blockchains like Ethereum and PulseChain. It is backed by real Bitcoin and managed with strong security measures. Pulse Wrapped Bitcoin follows a similar model, and while BitGo has not officially recognized it yet, its decentralized governance ensures that it remains secure. Okay, so I just wanted to give that brief kind of summary there to you guys, so that way you know what's going on with this a little bit more. Definitely ask around the community more. If anybody knows and can correct me on anything in here, please do so in the comments below there. But I think I did a pretty decent job there in explaining some basics there, okay? So we're going to go back here to, let's see, where was I at here? Okay, we're going to go back here to the chart now. So now we're at wrapped Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and see what has happened so far. We have the chart here. There's a lot that I can draw on here, but I'm gonna hold back on a lot of stuff because I don't want to keep revealing everything, right, and give so much where it's gonna make people's eyes kind of like whoa. But there is a lot and tons of aha moments and like holy crud, right? So we'll just stick with the daily chart here. Okay, simple analysis here. I'm not gonna get too technical with our stuff, but simply put, this is what's happened here with wrapped Bitcoin, okay? Because some people may look at this and say, oh, this is just an ordinary chart. It's not really alive. There's no real big money-making decisions happening, no big movers on here, right? Traders, Aaron. So it's just, you know, a crypto that has kind of seen its highlight of the day, basically its time, and then just kind of dropped and plummeted and is kind of like inching down into the darkness of $0 there, okay? That is always a potential, okay? But do keep in mind here that we do indeed have something, okay? And that's where Aaron comes in, right? To kind of like show what's going on here, okay? So as I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I do not use indicators or anything like that. I keep it simple. Especially for this video, these patterns will be very, very quick and easy, okay? Basics. All right, so let's use blue on our color for today. All right, so what we have here is, this is what's going on right now. Quick and simple. What has been happening recently. Here and here. All right, so we got our pattern completed. We project that into the future. And look at that. We could see potentially a test right here, okay, of if it starts to slide to the right. We're looking for a break of this trend line. So let's go ahead and take our shoulders here. And we're going to extend that into the future too. And we can see that we're right in between that area there. And we can have a retest of this down here. Hopefully not. Hopefully it respects these lows here. But it looks like it could kind of inch down that way before breaking up to the upside there. Okay, so we did see that it did fall on the shoulders there and have lots of support right here. Okay, so if you're wondering why is it kind of going down there and zigzagging in that space of blackness on its own before we drew the trend lines there, well, now you know why it was having and holding support there. Okay, so now it continued to come down and then up right here a little bit, and then it knocked itself down here, falling under it. Okay, now you can see it went sideways and finally broke up above one time, pushed back down, is still kind of fighting in and around that line, and then, you know, going into this area here, okay, which is very important. So let's go ahead and draw from the necklines here into the future, down, and look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It bottomed out right on that trend line, okay? So you can see that it was kind of going down. It was fighting on this one here, but when it did break out, it's not free falling to nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we do know exactly why it's doing that, okay? It touched right there with precision, kind of moved sideways there, and now it's playing with these other trend lines. So as you can see how it's played with these other trend lines back in the past multiple times with precision touches and everything, moving forward, it wants to eventually get close to this one here. And this is where we're going to see some magic happen, okay? Because we're taking it from a big pattern back in the past. Now remember, there are patterns within patterns, and this can get really technical, and there's bigger ones, but I'm not drawing those, which gives some good insight as to where and how high it can go, right? But like I said, keeping it short, brief, happy, simple, and fun. Okay, so there we go right there. Let's go ahead and draw our blocks like we normally do. Oh, that's purple. I want the blue here. So let's go ahead and draw that right there and here, and then we're going to see multiple points of contact in and around this area. It continued to, well, let's just see, this is going to be pretty big, but right in there, okay? And then we do indeed have it again right here, okay? So that is a nice key area. And this big box here is a new window. I drew it big so we can see instead of a bunch of little boxes there, but it's a nice, big, beautiful window into what was happening right there with price action. Okay, so again, right here, we have the shoulders here. Okay, we're going to draw those nice and pretty there, and that extends right into this one right here, okay? This box that I drew earlier. Okay, so now we have that right there. That's the trend line moving forward. This one right here, since it's down here, gave us a lot of opportunity, and right here too as well, okay? So now we got all our boxes on there and everything looks nice and cool and stuff. There is a pattern forming. I'm not going to draw that there. Just keep it simple on this trend line right up here, okay, projected into the future. Many people, without understanding what I'm doing or know how to draw the markets or look at a micro or macro or, you know, in between type of level and see every pattern and then draw them accordingly to kind of precision your trading and hone down like inward more into all that, into like day trade or whatever. This is just simply a longer one, so you can kind of get like a longer term position trade here or something like that. And I find kind of that there's a lot of value in that, and it's simpler for people, right? So we're going to stick with that. But anyway, you can see that it can kind of go sideways here like it's been doing here, and it has a move up there. Everything happens for a reason here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing happening that's not by design, okay? And so we can see that there may be the absolute worst case scenario is a retest of this before maybe breaking this trend line. But I would definitely keep an eye on Wrapped BTC, especially after what we've seen with Mr. Richard Hart there talking about you know, his victory over the SEC by defeating them, and then also saying how there's, you know, favorable things coming by. Well, what I read in there, I don't remember exactly everything he said, but it sounded very favorable for his blockchain there. Okay. So yeah, that's what we have here. Let's just look for a break above this trend line here. Might be something beautiful that occurs, okay? And it might just send it above these lower areas here that we're currently at, and that would be good, okay? So we might not see these lows. It doesn't mean that it's going to soar and take off to like $2,000 again or something like that up there, but it could mean that we do kind of like find a move up, maybe to retest 600 and 800, okay, or even 400 right in here, okay, but at least it won't hopefully potentially go down back into the 200 and below range, which is in and around this area here, right? So another thing here real quick before I end the video here, just by kind of giving you guys some fun examples there. If you zoom all the way out here, okay, this is something that anybody can pick up on. It's pretty simple. Oops, let's go back. What did I do here? Oh boy, bear with me one second. Remember, I'm new to all this stuff again. It's getting back into everything. It's kind of tricky here for me. Let me go ahead and grab, let's see, what color do we do? Let's do yellow so we can see that nice and easy. Okay, let's just take this low here, okay? Let's take the low and extend it all the way out into the future there, okay? Now, it's kind of hard to see, but I'm gonna pick it up right there. There we go. So you can see that on the long-term trend line on these lows here, okay, price is comfortable back here. Let's move this to yellow. Yeah, price has been very comfortable back here on this trend line here for quite some time in the past there, right? This is a new chain. Look at the years that it's been, okay? It's not very long, okay? But you can see indeed that we are hovering, in fact, higher than that trend line, okay? It hasn't touched. So that's good news right there. Now, can it come down and touch? Sure. And then maybe touch here too? Sure. Before maybe going up to 400 again, right? It's already retested 400 right here. So, and that was in the short term, okay? It just touched 600 and it fell down and then it immediately rose up to 400. It might fall down and then go back up to 400, but you can see that there's some decent, medium-sized runs in here, okay, of highs and lows. So it is moving, okay? And we are looking at the patterns and that potential trend line break, right, that we saw from the top down. And then now we have the support trend line down here in yellow, which looks very nice and strong from a lot of historical performance back there on PWBTC. But moving forward, we can indeed find some support on this level here, okay? But it is being smashed by that top trend line there, and potential movement upward to 400 could maybe be seen. So we'll have to see what happens here. But I did want to write this here, okay? I did want to draw this. Excuse me, my dog's barking here. But lose my train of thought. Let's get out of this thing here. But yeah, so what we have is some potential with Wrapped BTC, okay? So to answer your question there, I hope that answered your question and gave you something that I'm looking at, Nick, that could be favorable. Now, remember, I do not give financial advice, guys. Sorry. I'm just educating everybody on the chart here and having fun and drawing stuff and showing potential possibilities based upon the analysis of what I see on screen, right? But remember, I am not an expert, and everything you do is at your own risk, and I'm just simply presenting educational value, okay? And I hope it's valuable to you guys. Please do subscribe, comment, like the video, and buckle up, right? And the more you guys ask questions, and maybe I can do something as far as another crypto chart there, and we'll keep it simple, fun, and basic. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Till next time. Take care. And oh, congratulations, Mr. Richard Hart, as of today.